first. And Logan Tyler gets us going from Raleigh. So as Quint talked about, Ryan Finley, the 6th-year quarterback, getting set for another start, the 34th of his NC State career.
I just realized how important the off-the-field stuff was translating onto the field. I'm always looking for a new way to kind of get an edge and a new way to feel better. It's just something that I think mentally works for me, and I've stuck with it.
One of the top quarterback prospects in the country, smart, quick, high IQ, very intelligent player.
He is a mature, self-aware guy, very self-aware.
On first down, it's Reggie Gillespie with a good run. Works his way out to the 34-yard line.
And I say self-aware because this young man told us yesterday, hey, you know, I'm not sure I handled leaving Boise State, transferring the best way, and a broken ankle, probably the best thing that ever happened to me, but I've led a charmed life, so I really can't complain. Kind of self-aware.
Yep. We talked about how cerebral of a young man this is. He finds Jacoby Myers has the first down to the 38-yard line. So he was at Boise State for 3 years, graduated magna cum laude with a psychology degree in 3 years, just got his master's degree in liberal arts back in May. He's already earned a graduate certificate in youth, family, and community sciences. Now he's pursuing a second graduate certificate. I asked him, what do you want to do when you're done with football? He's like, too many things. That's a good answer. Ricky Person, who did not play a week ago, has the carry to the 40-yard line here.
And scouts love the way he manages this offense. Good decision maker. He doesn't normally force the ball down the field. He's willing to do a check down. He's willing to throw the ball away, live to fight another day. So all those things show signs of maturity at the quarterback spot.
He's got plenty of time. And he's looking for Harmon. Kelvin Harmon, the catch maker, down to the Florida State 41.
Yeah, and you wonder how you lose Harmon. I mean, this is a guy who is the best receiver on that team, and he is certainly a first-round pick candidate, and he's lost in the secondary.
The ACC's leading receiver coming off a career-best 247 against Syracuse last week. He accounted for 46% of the offense. Finley with all kinds of time, looking for Myers. It'll bring up second down.
Seminoles playing without their leading corner today, Adam. Levante Taylor did not make the trip. Missing practice this week. They also have some injuries at linebacker. Dontavius Jackson is dressed, really didn't warm up, and so far has not participated in this ball game.
They had to leave the game last week against Clemson.
Yeah, Q, and the question is, really, will they be able to generate a pass rush without experienced linebackers to help them bring a blitz?
Quick throw to Harmon, and he'll work his way close to the sticks. It'll bring up a third down and short situation. Can you generate a pass rush against one of the best offensive lines? And that's been something that has been commonplace here in Raleigh for the last few years.
I'm going to keep my eye on 99 Brian Burns because he is a pass rushing whiz for Florida State. And I don't think this offensive line can handle him one-on-one. The question is, how do they adjust to try to keep him out of the backfield?
3rd and 1. Finley. Ooh, good effort by Dylan Autenreith. It was incomplete, and it brings up 4th down and short.
Yeah, it would be, and also Burns putting the pressure on. And it looks like they're going to go for this. You know, you're in that in-between area where a punt probably doesn't do you any good, and if you're not confident that you can make a field goal from that spot, yes, you go for it.
Watch the tight end here, number 6, Gary Angelon.
Yeah, he's a big guy, Q. Goes at 6'7", 254. Got him over there on the end of the line of scrimmage.
They'll run it. with Gillespie. Reggie Gillespie down inside the 15 for North Carolina State. Asante Samuel saved the touchdown.
Yeah, just an outside stretch play. Now watch what we get from the fullback there. He's going to just lead Gillespie all the way inside. Look at that. Hole, good block, nothing there. Antoine Reef.
Redshirt sophomore out of Dallas. He's in there again. Opening it up for Gillespie, and another touchdown saving tackle by Asante Samuel Jr.
You know, as we were talking yesterday and during the week and watching film, we said this is a left-handed running team. Almost everything they try to do in the run game for North Carolina State is to the left. Outside, perimeter, off tackle. That's where they're most comfortable.
Let's see where they go here. They've got Person in the backfield again. Opening drive of the game. This is the 10th play of the series. Person spinning his way down inside the 5. It'll be 3rd down and goal for North Carolina State.
This is the number 12 rush defense in the country. And North Carolina State is taking it to them right now.
Right back to Person. Walks in for a Wolfpack touchdown.
Wow.
Welcome back home to Raleigh.
Just on the right side, another outside zone play and completely sealed off. You don't have a white shirt showing up in a gap at all to make a play.
You said it, one of the best rush defenses in the country. Just got walked all over. Get a penalty marker from the end zone.
Substitution infraction. Defense, 12 players on the field. Half the distance to the goal penalty remains the try down.
You know, the interesting thing is how Florida State will respond, because normally the defense hangs in there and the problems show up on offense. And Willie said, hey, our team hasn't been good dealing with adversity. Well, this opening drive, that's adversity.
Yep. This is football adversity, as Willie Taggart put it. Christopher Dunn, a freshman from Lexington, North Carolina. In NC State's first appearance at home in nearly a month, caps off an 11-play, 75-yard drive. Time for today's Aflac Game Fact. What's up, Duck? Aflac! Florida State 4-4. They've had 41 consecutive winning seasons at this proud program, going back to Bobby Bowden's 2nd year as the head coach. It's the 3rd longest streak in the country. They've got 4 very difficult games down the stretch, counting today. Wins could be tough to come by. A very important one today for the Seminoles. And Keyshawn Helton epitomizes the last week as he trips inside the 20. And now penalty markers come flying in with a little bit of chippiness from the get-go.
Well, the positive spin on the chippiness is at least they care.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we're looking for emotion, right? That's what Willie Taggart wants to see in a game like this.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against the receiving team. During the return, holding, number 84. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 84. Both penalties will be enforced. First down, Florida State.
Darius Dent is not going to make any friends right now on that sideline.
Top of the screen, take a look over here. You'll see right over there. There it is.
Yep.
Takedown in the aftermath. He's giving him the business.
Thank you, Ron Cherry. So now James Blackman has to come into this noise with the ball inside his own 5. This is what his teammates say about him. Gabe Neighbors. He commits extra time to make sure everyone knows what they have. The energy he brings in practice and on game days, essential to this team. And Cam Akers, just trying to give Florida State some cushion, will pick up 2. Here's an example of that energy. Pre-game, guess who's right in the thick of things, making his first start since last year?
You know how hard it is to be a backup player and to be a leader? Normally that doesn't happen. You have to have some special qualities for people to listen to you.
Speaking of special, there's Cam Akers. A much-needed cushion run for Florida State behind the sophomore from Mississippi.
Yeah, tremendous block by Cole Minshew, number 70, the guard over there. He just led this thing up inside, and if they can run the ball like that, that's going to make things easier on Blackman.
Swings it out. Trey McKitty pick up a few.
You talk about Blackman and his skill set and the change to him today. He's a guy that throws short passes very well. He struggled last year with the intermediate and the deep ball. I'm curious to see how much he's improved with that today.
Blackman hit as he throws, but he connects with DJ Matthews.
Might check the box on that one.
Yes.
That was a nice throw and a difficult throw. And how about some toughness? You know you're going to get hit. Pratt's coming along. Hangs right in there.
Boy, that has been a sight that Florida State fans, unfortunately for them, have gotten used to. A quarterback on his back.
That's why Francois not in the lineup.
Seeking space, Akers muscles for 2. So last week, DeAndre Francois got sacked by Xavier Thomas of Clemson. He was day-to-day most of the week, did participate in practice on Thursday, but Willie Taggart's got a rule. No practice, no play. For the most part, DeAndre Francois was sidelined early in the week.
Yeah, he was beaten up pretty badly and, you know, moved around okay today in warm-ups, but got to practice.
Another strike to Trey McKitty, and he's out to the 43-yard line.
I think there's something else in there, too, about Blackman having kind of earned the right to play, the way he worked in practice, the way he's been a team leader and supportive of everybody.
And look at the communication. Francois signaling in. Whistle to blow the play dead. Timeout, NC State. Big 3rd down and 2. Florida State with their opening touch of the game.
A little bit surprised that Jaquez Patrick isn't in there.
He is in there now.
Good.
He's their 3rd down back.
235 pounds.
Arguably their best pass protector. He'll carry it here, and he lost the football. Wolfpack have it. James Smith-Williams recovers.
In traffic. 2 hands. Urias hold that ball high and tight. And I think he would have had the 1st down.
I think so, too.
Looks like that's Griffin who gets in there and knocks it out. That ball's too low. You got to hold that ball up higher and tighter. Yeah, Griffin's in there.
Clear fumble.
Yeah, you have to secure that.
Sudden change now defensively, ready for play action shot here on 1st down.
Yeah, especially in this field position, Q. They love to take some chances. Ricky Person will pick up 3 as we check in with Matt Berry. Matty.
Adam, thank you. Time now for the CarMax Drive. What's possible update takes us to Georgia, Kentucky after a good punt return. Jake Fromm takes advantage. Touchdown pass, Isaac Nauta. 4 plays, 23 yards. Dogs early.
Ooh, things already off to an interesting start in Lexington in a massive game. Trick play. Jacoby Myers, incomplete. He was looking for Kerry Angeline. Q, Rod, those are the guys that you have to be aware of in that situation.
This team's fun to watch. About 20% of their arsenal are what they call funk plays. You'll see them out around the logo in the middle of the field, off a sudden change, and then in the high red zone. And you watch this team on tape, there are multiple fun plays like that every week.
Quit reading their playbook, Q.
Eli Drinkwitz not afraid to go back into that Boise State and Gus Malzahn bag of tricks. Third down for Finley. A lot of traffic. And a long, dangerous throw for Myers is incomplete.
How about the protection? Plenty of time. This is the key with their passing attack, because you don't have a quarterback who really likes to run around and extend plays, but they gave him all day to find someone, and he didn't, because Florida State did a great job on the back end. You know, and that's a good response to adversity. You think about a fumble, midfield, and getting a stop. That's pretty darn good.
A.J. Cole punts away to D.J. Matthews. Fair catch at the 9. So James Blackman in his first career start against North Carolina State a year ago. Read about that game. That's a game that scared a lot of people early in the season. The Seminoles starting inside their own 10 again, and James Blackman gets absolutely drilled by Aleem McNeil. He was outside of the end zone when he got hit. That's where he'll be marked. Yeah,
we talked about this offensive line struggling, and this is just a twist inside. You will see McNeil 29 comes right up the middle. They didn't handle that well.
This has been the biggest issue, Q, for this Florida State team on offense.
24th sack allowed this year, 76 TFL. 20% of their plays are negative.
And now a penalty marker thrown.
False start offense, number 74. After this is a goal penalty, second down.
Derek Kelly gets called for the penalty. 16 penalties a week ago for Willie Taggart's crew. You've told me that this O-line needs to be more physical. It's going to be tough if Cole Minshew isn't in the lineup. We'll step aside as he's being tended to.
Look around. With artificial intelligence, we are not...
I'm not calling you doctor, but you can play one on TV. All right. Again, at the shadow of their own goal line, trying to get some space. And Cam Akers with a couple of yards of cushion. So today was the day that they had their 8th different offensive line combo to start a game in 9 dates. They've had 9 different starters on the O-line this year. Alec Eberle, the center, is the only player on the line, on the roster, to start every game on the offensive line. 3rd and long.
North Carolina State ought to roll the dice. Heat them up. Go after him.
They play conservative, a run play for Akers, and that will bring up 4th down.
You know, if you are James Blackman, you're thinking, can I just get some decent field position to start so we can pull from the entire playbook?
A little bit of rhythm lacking so far offensively.
But listen, you've got to give Florida State some credit for bouncing back from the way this game started. You know, a full drive to put them down 7-0, and then a turnover. Yet they got a 3 and out. They're hanging in there and playing with some emotion, some energy.
Logan Tyler. Thayer Thomas keeps his feet and gets brought down by Grant Glennon, the long snapper. The Sunday NFL Countdown tomorrow from New Orleans. They're going on site with Sam and the crew as Drew Brees and the Saints get set to host the Rams. Coach Corso's going to be there. He's going to join the gang for a headgear pick. That's awesome. Enough said about that. Corso's going to be there. You should be too. And then Titans and Cowboys. Amari Cooper making his Dallas Cowboy debut. 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. On the ESPN app as well.
There's Harmon up top. How do you play him? How do you keep him from ruining your day?
leading receiver in the ACC. Could this be an everybody but the center type of moment here?
Yeah.
I think that was an NC State game when Ron Cherry made that
False start,
declaration.
offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Justin Witt, the right tackle. Interesting to note because he did not play last week at Syracuse. Tyrone Riley made the start last week for him, the first of his career. Ricky Person. Patient run, but Dontavius Jackson with good penetration from the linebacker spot.
Yeah, it's like Florida State is finally picked up on this. They're kind of a left-handed running team. You know, get into those gaps, anticipate where they are, and honor your responsibility. They make plays like that. Now that matchup, Harmon, that connection with Finley, that is the big deal. Can Florida State limit him or take him out of the game?
That one floated into the hands of Jacoby Myers. I don't think he was down, and he advances past the sticks.
I don't think he was the intended receiver.
Brian Burns got a hand on that one from Finley.
I think Finley was throwing for Harmon, and I think this got tipped. Is that Burns? Yeah, Burns tipped it.
Absolutely.
You had two receivers running slants in there.
Back to Gillespie. And he rumbles ahead. He's got a first down to the 26-yard line. It was an impressive opening series running the football for NC State. There goes Gillespie again.
Oh, man. They are hunting those linebackers. You're getting a free run at the linebackers. You just take a look. Watch where he goes. Watch where Antweet goes inside. Find the linebacker. Bury him. The last couple plays, they've had a fullback. They've had a guard get out on these linebackers. They're hunting them down. They can't get involved and stop the play.
Dylan Autenreith is still in there. Ricky Person gets the handoff. Wrapped up by Joshua Kando right near the sticks.
You guys surprised at how well North Carolina State's running the ball against this defense?
Sounds like you are too. I was looking at this thinking, well, if there's a defensive advantage, maybe it's the run game for Florida State.
Well, good credit to this North Carolina State offensive line, showing more athleticism than we've seen previously. That ability to get out, to get onto the linebackers.
NC State last week up in the dome, falling behind early in what became a track meet 2 weeks ago. No run offense against Clemson. So this is a return to kind of what they showed the first 5 weeks of the season.
They only allow opponents 2.7 yards per rush this year. Obviously, it's early in this game, but NC State off to an excellent start at better than 6 per carry.
Well, they're going to have to protect those inside linebackers better. These guards and fullbacks are getting out on them, and it's making it really easy for North Carolina State to run the ball.
Person ran into Autenreith that time, so he only ends up with about a yard. Marvin Wilson and Corey Durden with the stop. Ricky Person did not play at Syracuse due to injury. This told me a lot when the coaching staff says Person at 80% is better than a lot of other guys at 100%. That tells you a lot about a young man.
Yeah, and Harmon on the outside, I'd take him at 50% and still have him out there because he is a nightmare to deal with down in this area. 6'3" and can jump.
Incomplete. Emeka Emezi looked like the intended target with Asante Samuel Jr. in coverage, and that induced the penalty flag thrown.
We've had an increase, in my view, of pass interference calls down the field, and I've chatted with coaches and officials about it. There's more contact going on down the field. And
pass interference, defense, number 26. Automatic first down.
As long as the ball is catchable, if you as the defender get your head around to show you're playing the ball, you're going to be okay. Now, to me, that's kind of mutual. You got both guys pushing off.
But it did look like to me, with him not looking back at the ball at any point, he was impeding what would have been the route for the receiver. I'm guessing that's what the judge saw.
Yeah, that was not as egregious as you would normally see for a call.
Sure.
And that ball was thrown inside where I'm not sure either one of them could have gotten to it.
Gillespie, good penetration by Brian Burns.
Yep.
Circle him, guys, when you're watching at home. 99 in white today.
His quickness and athleticism are just unreal. We're talking about a guy who can change direction at his height and weight at 6'5", 235, great speed, and he can cut around the edge.
Tied with Wyatt Ray of Boston College for the most sacks in the ACC. He's forced 3 fumbles this year. Harmon at the bottom of the formation. Harmon trying to muscle away from Stanford Samuels III, and it will be 3rd down and goal.
Pretty good matchup there. Stanford Samuels III is a big safety that they've moved out on occasion to line up against the bigger receivers. He's 6'2", matches up pretty well with Harmon at 6'3".
And again, I'm just looking for number 3 right now.
Yeah.
3rd and goal.
Well, I would think 3, but don't forget, Myers, number 11, can do some damage down here. But Harmon is your number 1 guy. Right there.
Finley looking. Back of the end zone, trying to find Angeline. Incomplete. And Samuels on him.
Yeah, they run a little bit of a rub or a pick play. So Harmon was not the primary, but trying to get Angeline free in the corner. That's another really good stop for Florida State.
Yeah, they've stood up twice now with bad field position.
Yeah.
Bad defensive field position. So Christopher Dunn, a true freshman, 10 of 13 on the season. With the chip shot attempts. 10-0 NC State.
Even with that stop, this is a really good start for North Carolina State. That opening drive was a thing of beauty, and they come back with this one. They didn't get the touchdown, but got 3 points out of it. And when you're playing a team that has struggled and you keep tacking on points, you have the chance to really sort of demoralize them, although Florida State has not been demoralized yet.
This is an NC State team that, with a win today, and obviously a 6th win, they get to bowl eligibility. That's starting to become more commonplace now under Dave Doran. There is a chance, with a pretty favorable schedule down the stretch, this could be a 10-win NC State team, believe it or not. If they win today, plus they'll have a bowl game, they could be a 10-11 win team this year.
I'm going to go out on a limb. They're going to win all 4 of those. The one that would be difficult, I think, is Wake Forest.
A short week. That's this week. Granted, it's at home. But if they get past that, it's a favorable schedule down the stretch. That East Carolina game, of course,
when was the last time they had a double-digit season?
They've had 1 double-digit win season. 2002 under Chuck Amato. Keyshawn Helton gets another opportunity. And they'll get chopped down at the 25 as we check in with Matt Berry in the studio. Matty.
Adam on DirecTV, more for your college football thing. Takes us to the Big House. Michigan's first offensive possession of the game ends with Shea Patterson on the keeper. 8 plays, 76 yards. Wolverines early, 7-0. Adam Rod, back to you.
Where's Michigan at in your head right now? How close are they to being a sexier and sexier pick to beat Ohio State?
That's my stock up. That's my hot number 5 team that very likely winds up in the top 4.
On the outside looking in for the time being after the initial college football playoff rankings. Pokey Wilson with the catch. That'll close out the opening quarter of play here in Raleigh. College football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. During 5 others before turning the gun on himself. Among the deaths were a Florida State University student and faculty member. And to those of you who are feeling these losses profoundly today, we mourn for you. We're thinking of you. Cam Akers on the ground. Penalty marker thrown on the play. It'll be a holding penalty against the Seminoles.
Holding offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty, second down.
That was the first time Blackman had decent field position.
Yeah.
And then you get a holding call to move you back and make this difficult. I'm curious to see just how much confidence and trust Willie Taggart has in him and how much he'll let it air it out a bit.
Inside screen for Matthews, blown up. Jermaine Pratt, the leading tackler in the ACC. Boy, the number 3 is a pretty good for NC State on both sides of the ball.
Not too shabby, huh? He flies around. He's a guy who's retained his athleticism, even though he gained 35 pounds his first year at NC State. Is this real or is it fake? The blitz, they're showing it. Is it real?
A lot of pressure here, buddy.
Is it real?
Backing out. Quick sling to the outside. Incomplete. That was way over the head of Matthews.
Yeah, see, the disguise, the fake blitz, I think triggered a play change to go to something quick, and then you saw the accuracy was off.
Willie Taggart used the word confident in talking about James Blackman. I'm fully confident in him in the offense. Remember that DeAndre Francois was rehabbing that knee injury that he suffered last year during spring camp. So it was James Blackman who really handled most of this Gulf Coast Willie Taggart offense in the spring.
But it takes a while to get comfortable. Remember, he hasn't played much this season.
Back-to-back 3 and outs for the Seminoles. And a lot of pressure on their defense. Thayer Thomas will let that roll down to the 40. Still great field position for NC State. Matt Berry, what do you got?
Yeah, Adam, that ACC Coastal is in play, and Virginia Tech trying to take advantage, taking on Boston College here. Ryan Willis to Damon Hazelton, 26 yards, good pass, better catch. And we're tied at 7 apiece, Lace first quarter.
Thanks so much, Matt.
I think Matt's having a day, man. He's sitting there with all kinds of good stuff to watch.
Shout out, by the way, to our cohort Cassidy Hubbarth on maternity leave. Best to you and the hubby, Cass. We love you.
Absolutely.
Here's Jacoby Myers with a lot of space. All the way inside the Seminole 35.
One block is all it takes. On the perimeter, one great block in this screen game, and you're off and you're running, and sure enough, Imezi got that block.
For 31 yards to open it up for Jacoby Myers. They run from that pistol set with Person, brought down by Janaris Robinson. This has been a field position game so far. Here's an example of that.
Yeah, you're playing on one end of the field. That's all good for North Carolina State. Awful for Florida State. And they just haven't been able to make a play on first or second down to allow them to get into a package and create some negative plays.
30-yard average difference in drive slow. Ryan Finley finds his target. He's got Thayer Thomas, the redshirt freshman, marked past the sticks for a first down.
Again, no pressure on Finley. They're doing a terrific job of keeping Burns, 99, out of the backfield.
That's truly the one guy they said you got to account for. Brian Burns, you stop him, we'll figure everything else out. Oof. Big-bodied Reggie Gillespie at 235 pounds. Pinballs to the 11.
And I love this play selection because they run it at Burns. You know, you run away from a pass rusher, and then you run it at him, and you say, we're not going to let you just come get our quarterback. We want to see you defend the run. So this offensive line is being really physical, really aggressive, really going after him.
Person with Autenreef blocking. Good second effort on the back end by Jaden Woodby, but a penalty marker gets thrown.
Now, I thought A.J. Westbrook did a good job of making the play and forcing this thing to the edge, knocking down potential blockers to make this, but then the extracurricular, you really don't need it.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 20. Half the distance to the goal penalty, automatic first down.
True freshman
That's
Jaden
number
Woodby.
20's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Yeah, lack of discipline here. I mean, you've made a good play here. Your teammates are there. It's all done. It's all over with. You don't need the extra.
Willie Taggart asking the officials why they blew the whistle so early.
Well, Q, on the sideline, they normally do, you know? And with progress stop, I mean, I have no problem with the whistle being blown.
And now looking for Harmon. You bet. Touchdown. The most prolific duo in the ACC.
Well, we've talked about this matchup all day. Finley to Harmon, and just no chance for Samuels to see that ball. He can't find it, and it's thrown away from him, underthrown actually, but a good job by Harmon coming back to get it.
The leading passer in the ACC finds the leading receiver in the ACC. They didn't even like each other when they first came in together in 2016. Finley said, I didn't like that Calvin used to beat me in Madden all the time. A penalty against Jaden Woodby on that last series. And the Wolfpack take advantage with a Harmon touchdown. Excellent kick by Bambard. But a great return. Bambard is there for the stop on Helton. Let's check in with Matt Berry.
Gentlemen, we've got a fun one in the Big 12. West Virginia and Texas after a Longhorns touchdown. Dana Holgorsen dials one up. Will Greer to David Sills. 60-yard touchdown. West Virginia on top. 10-7. Should be fun.
It's a swing game in the Big 12 after the Texas loss last week against Oklahoma State.
How about David Sills turning into such a great wide receiver after being a hotshot quarterback recruit?
No, he's had a great 10-year college career, Davidson. One of the best receivers in college football with one of the best QBs in Will Greer. Blackman to the outside to Matthews.
This is a critical moment for Florida State. Down 17-0, you have to stop the bad run. They had a chance to get off the field defensively, then you get that unsportsmanlike conduct. It leads to a touchdown. You're down 17. Willie Taggart said, we're not mentally tough. Well, they got to be tough here or else this game is going to slip away this series.
Wow. Cam Akers just got swallowed up by Darian Roseborough.
Wow is right, Rod. Cam Akers is their #1 running back in his recruiting class 2 years ago. You talk about having no chance. There are 3 red jerseys in the backfield, 3 yards deep, that swallowed that play up before it ever could get off the ground.
Still in there on 3rd and 10. Pressure from the Wolfpack. Blackman's got a man deep. What a catch. Excellent job by Tamarian Terry, beating Chris Ingram for 40 yards.
What recognition, first of all, by Blackman to see the pressure and the single coverage, and then getting the ball out there. But you said it, Terry hanging in there to get to the ball that was slightly underthrown.
Great adjustment he made for that. Blackman wants to go deep again. Same man, same result. Touchdown to Tamarian Terry. A much-needed strike for the Seminoles.
We talked about the North Carolina State defense, the weaknesses on the back end. Syracuse wiped them out. They went after Ingram again, 2 straight times, single coverage. And you're talking about a freshman, redshirt freshman in Terry, who's 6'4" and can make the deep ball pay off for him. They needed that desperately.
75 yards on 2 throws from Blackman to Terry. Ricky Aguayo for the extra point. Oof. That stems the tide momentarily if you're James Blackman and the Seminoles.
You know, there are a couple issues that he knows he's got to deal with. One is offensive line. They've had that issue. Their recruiting classes haven't really borne the fruit that they expected the last 3 years on the offensive line. And then the other thing, the culture. That's a little bit more difficult, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Maurice Trower. Chopped down inside at the 25-yard line.
We'll take you back to that beautiful touchdown throw, and it all begins with the offensive line. Watch the great protection and pocket that Blackman gets here. Perfect pocket. He's got plenty of time, and he sees this on the right side. He goes, I got my guy even, so he's leaving.
Yep.
So I'm going to put the ball out there and let him run underneath it. And sure enough, perfectly executed on both ends by Florida State. And you think they've got some camaraderie. Where's the other quarterback? Got a congratulations from Francois over there.
Well, you said it, Rod. Much needed for Florida State. How can they get a stop? Because NC State's been running all over them early. There's Leonard Warner shutting Gillespie down. There's a little bit of emotion. I think that's something you were looking for today, too.
I think everyone was looking for that, Q.
Yeah, I've seen better examples of player-led leadership. You know, Jaquez Patrick, after the fumble, went up to every member of the offensive line and shook their hand and apologized. We've seen Brian Burns parading up and down the sideline. These players now are more accountable and holding each other to a standard.
And now Myers makes the catch. Just shy of the line to gain. It'll be 3rd and short.
So that's one of the things that Taggart is dealing with, that over the last couple of years, and we know this for a fact because we asked about it, there became this focus on the NFL. I mean, last year talking to Jimbo Fisher when they were out of the race, he basically said, I told my guys they ought to be playing to get to the NFL.
Keep for Finley. 1st down.
So when you talk about that, the focus becomes me and a little bit of selfishness and what do I need to do, as opposed to I'm playing for the guy next to me, I'm playing for my school, you know, those types of things. And so you lose that willingness to sacrifice. And Willie Taggart talks about trying to make the team closer, trying to make them like each other more and get away from focusing on the NFL and being more playing for each other.
Finley, long throw. Myers stays in bounds, has the 1st down as we check in with Matt Berry.
After the West Virginia touchdown, here comes Texas. Sam Ehlinger and a little Jordan Humphrey, 21-yard touchdown. Texas back on top. Buckle your bootstraps, Adam. I know you got a pair.
Let me just slip these on comfortably. NC State could have played West Virginia. That was a game that got canceled earlier in the season due to weather conditions. Imagine if those two teams had gotten an opportunity to play. That wouldn't be right now. That's a quality win when you're trying to get up higher in the college football playoff rankings. What could have been.
Yeah, right, okay. I mean, I see a nice season for NC State, and that game could have helped that, but I don't think there was that far.
You don't think if they win that game going into Clemson with a win over West Virginia, they're a little bit more confident going into
Clemson still takes them out behind the woodshed.
Okay. Well, based on what we saw today, I think Clemson takes just about everybody behind the woodshed.
Agreed.
They did it to Florida State a week ago and then put up 70+ on Louisville today. Boy, Finley with all day, looking for Myers. This offensive line is something else,
wow.
And Finley is in one heck of a rhythm.
Did you see Finley study that throw? He's like, well, I got all day here. Now, I see I got one-on-one coverage. Do I lead my guy or do I give him a back shoulder? I think I'll throw it back shoulder. He got plenty of time to figure that out. Wow.
Pretty confident behind one of the best offensive line units in the country. Gillespie nearly broke free, would be held on for dear life.
I know you say I'm an advocate of blitzing a lot anyway, but
you are Sir Blitz a lot, yes. Forget Jim Knowles over at Oklahoma State. You're Sir Blitz a lot.
They got to bring it more.
Yeah.
They can't let Finley sit back there like that. They got to bring 5 or 6. They got to bring run blitzes down here.
Maybe Gillespie.
Yep.
That's what you're looking for. Just crash at this point.
Yeah, that's Harlan Barnett, the defensive coordinator, deciding we're bringing the run blitzes down here, and I think he'll change that up and go with some pass blitzes and passing downs. But you can't sit back and take the punches up and down the field. At some point, you got to punch back.
First year, 51 years of age. Harlan Barnett, the defensive coordinator. Mark D'Antonio prospect. The last 14 years between Cincinnati and Michigan State, working under Mark D'Antonio. 3rd down and 6 for Finley. Finley, end zone. Couldn't get those hands up fast enough. If you're a Mecca Emezi, good coverage that time by Kyle Myers to bring up 4th down, Q.
Yeah, big wide receivers from NC State. More than Harmon, it's a trio of guys, and they use their hands so well to try to win those contested calls. That ball went right through the fingertips.
Q, we see a lot of mutual combat or pushing between DBs and receivers down the field. I think it's good that they're being allowed to play a little bit more that way.
Well, we've seen that be a trend, feels like, over the course of the first 2 months of the season. Christopher Dunn, his 2nd chip shot attempt, and the true freshman is true again. NC State, 2-touchdown lead. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, their mascot is Mr. Wolf, Mrs. Wolf. They got Tuffy, which is the logo. It's a good atmosphere.
It is.
Short kick here. Fair catch will send it to the 25-yard line for Florida State. Well, Florida State's going to see Notre Dame soon. Notre Dame's going to see Northwestern tonight. 4th-ranked Irish on the road. This could be a dangerous setting tonight. I think it will be a lot of Irish fans there. Yep. I'll be flying back to Chicago tonight. 7:15 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. What's the biggest hurdle for the Irish to stay undefeated?
Ooh, this is the sneaky upset alert game because it's going to be cold. There won't be 100,000 people there.
Right.
So you're going to have to generate some of your own energy if you're Notre Dame, and that's ripe for an upset. So this one's a tough one, and I think USC at the end of the season is a tough one.
Yep, I would agree with you on that. James Blackman moving the pocket and has nothing there. Brought down by Deontay Holden.
Yeah, well, Raheem McNeil was in the backfield right away. It was as if he was not even touched. You see him fly by right there. That created all the havoc. He's being very disruptive.
Blackman ran right into Brady Scott, one of his offensive linemen on the play. A lot of congestion up front. Blackman, good throw to Akers out of the backfield. Cam Akers picks up good yardage to set up 3rd and 5.
We started talking about the Florida State offensive line previously and their issues with their recruiting classes lately. You talked about the number of changes to the offensive line. They're playing some guys who probably needed to wait a year or two. That's a problem. I think they had 10 offensive linemen over their last 3 classes. Only 2 of them have become starters or regulars.
Blackman throws an interception. It's the defensive lineman, Laurel Murchison, with the interception. Big men everywhere rejoice and celebrate.
He was just expecting to have a complete window open, zone blitz. Look at this. Murchison drops right back into that path. He expected him to rush. He drops right back in that window. Nice little change up defensively by NC State.
That's a textbook play for a zone blitz.
Yep, perfect. Perfect.
First career interception for the junior college transfer Laurel Murchison. He sets it up at the 32. Nothing there for Person. The ongoing theme of this game has been field position.
You see the numbers there. But if you're a North Carolina State fan, you have to be a little frustrated. They've been inside the 20 4 times and only 2 touchdowns. That's 50%. They need to be at about 75%. That's when you're doing it really well.
Ooh, pressure off the edge. Finley got rid of it to Angeline. Wrapped up by Woodby at the 30.
You can say, well, they got there 4 times and they got field goals. They scored 4 times. But when you evaluate your offense and red zone, you want touchdowns. And if you can score touchdowns at a 75% clip, 70% clip, you're going to win a lot of games.
This year, they're at a 57% touchdown clip when they get into the red zone. Trying to get to it on 3rd and 6. Gillespie. And he will not make it. We'll get to the 24.
Interesting question there.
Yeah.
You kick it for the 3 or you keep moving it. And I think the way that offensive line has worked, I'd go.
You want to go for it here?
I'd go.
Dave Dorn might have been on your page, bud.
Willie Taggart calling a timeout on the far sideline, Adam.
Yeah, he wants to talk this over. Wants to make sure he's prepared for anything crazy on 4th down coming up.
I'd line up and run it, and I'd make sure that Gillespie got the football. But this formation cue suggests that they may throw it.
Fourth and 2. Florida State bringing the blitz. Quick throw, first down. Thayer Thomas. And North Carolina State into the red zone.
Yeah, this offense, they are very much a run it at you when they have their running back behind the quarterback in a tailback position.
Rod, that's classic Finley right there, though.
Yep.
The ability to diagnose, to understand what the coverage is, and to place that ball accurately.
Look at this. That's where they like to run that when they have that H-back.
Anytime they've had 42 Autenreith in the game, they've been running it often. There's a penalty marker that comes flying in. And Gillespie limping a little bit as he exits the pack.
He's been banged up, for a few weeks, and he's not been 100%.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, defense, number 5. Half the distance to the goal, penalty, first down.
It's the second time in the red zone that Florida State has committed a 15-yard penalty or a penalty of that nature.
Yep.
We had the Woodby penalty earlier that it helped extend a drive, and this one just gave a fresh set of downs inside the 10 to NC State. Dontavius Jackson on this one.
The extracurricular stuff we saw earlier, taking shots at folks, those things are selfish acts. They're about me and my pride, my respect. It's not about team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Nyquan Murray and Zaquandre White, they won't play till the second half today because they had incidents last week against Clemson. Finley, sliding attempt by Myers. He's got it at the 4, and it's 2nd and goal.
You know, initially, before you come to mature and get this stuff, you know, somebody disses you on the field, your initial reaction is to fire back or to sort of get even. But that is selfish. That is about me getting my props, getting my respect. It's not about what's good for the team.
I mean, Dontavius Jackson still pleading his case to the coaching staff right now, saying, I didn't do anything. Frustrating right now for FSU. Timeout for NC State. We're back in 15 seconds.
To celebrate the...
About 3 or 4 yards. That seems to be a catch, so that should set him up inside the 5.
Yeah, look for the hand underneath the ball between the ground and the ball, and it looked like that was the case first time, but certainly haven't seen any angle that would say you've got indisputable video evidence to overturn that.
Indeed, it will be second down and goal from just inside the 5.
This looks like run formation when you've got that back directly behind Finley.
A piss tendency, as they've talked about. Option. Person. Touchdown. First 2 career touchdowns of Ricky Person Jr.'s career here today.
And what a great call. They caught Florida State in a defense in which they had man coverage on the outside, no edge player, and no one to handle the pitch. Man coverage, and you've got your edge player going for the quarterback, nobody from inside out to handle Ricky Person to the outside.
20-point State lead. Person with a pair of scores. Ryan Finley, 3 games of the season, the first of his college career. An ankle injury had slowed him down during the fall. Finally got lathered up against Virginia and BC and Clemson. Then he gets banged up again. Misses the game last week. I would imagine Dave Doeren would have loved to have him in a game that went back and forth over the course of the last 3 quarters in Syracuse. He's happy to have Person back this week.
Yeah, he brings a little bit more explosiveness to that offense. Instead of the pounded 2 or 3 yards at a time back, he gives you a chance for a big play and to get to the edge.
.74 ticks for the half. Keyshawn Helton will take a knee. Every school all on one network. A new place to call home. The ACC network coming August of 2019.
You know who's excited about that?
Dave Doeren was excited about that.
Oh,
when we talked with him yesterday. This is a Carter Finley Stadium that's been standing since 1966. Granted, with a couple of good renovations, but that was one thing. Wanting to improve on the facilities, whether it's for the football team, the entire athletic department. They say they've got a long way to go here in Raleigh.
Look, he said they're chasing the SEC, and any network, any other way to add money will help them close the gap.
And Florida State will get the ball to start the second half, maybe trying to close the gap before that point. 1:14 and 2 timeouts for Blackman. Got a man. And a good catch made by Trey McKitty. Into NC State territory, the tight end, for a grab of 32.
Well done against a 3-man rush, 8 guys in pass defense, a 2-deep zone. Just get your guy in between those 2 safeties.
Yep.
Dropped it in perfectly.
That's the longest catch of McKitty's career. Good job by Akers to hold on to that one. Takes it inside the 40. 55 seconds remain.
Clock management is huge right now. You've got a couple timeouts. Just used one. So if you manage the clock correctly, you can get some momentum going into the half, and you get the ball to start the second half.
Give me a little perspective on today with how the ACC is being evaluated. Obviously, Clemson's kind of...
And everybody else.
.77 today after 59 last week for Clemson. Wow. I'm marveling at them right now. Penalty marker thrown. Q?
2 things that stood out.
False start offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, second down.
You had 5 ACC teams in. None of them named Virginia Tech, Miami, or Florida State.
That's right.
Yep.
The other thing, Rod, you mentioned that non-conference Power 5 wins. As a conference, the ACC only has 3. Clemson with that excellent win at Texas A&M, and then Duke with wins over Northwestern and Baylor.
Yep.
2nd and 11. Blackman pumped. Akers kind of slipped. It drops incomplete. 3rd down and 11. The ACC title game since 2005 has been in place. Florida State and Clemson have represented the Atlantic over the last several years, almost a decade now. It's been Clemson, obviously, the last 3. Way more parity on the other side.
Yeah, you know, when your name programs are down, people tend to discount the conference.
Blackman fires. Well, how about Matthews going airborne, grabbing it, and then coming down with a 1st down?
And plenty of time for Florida State. This is a nice catch and great protection. Good pocket awareness there by Blackman. But you've got time now where you can clock it. You can save your timeout. You can take some shots at the end zone. And look, this secondary for NC State, confidence cannot be good. They have struggled the last few weeks. They got really blasted against Syracuse. They've given up a couple of big plays already here. So they want to stay away from man coverage. If they get to man coverage, you're going to see a touchdown pass.
Yes. And this is interesting. You got stacked receivers on both sides for Florida State here.
Well, he could just throw that ball out there on the quick screen.
And now the NC State back end was rotating before the play. And somehow Blackman finds a window for Matthews. 1st and goal for Florida State. Still a half a minute to go.
Plenty of time. Poise.
Blackman makes sure everybody's set. Spikes.
So when you drop off and you play a lot of zone down here and you leave these big gaps, look at the anticipation. Blackman anticipating very well Matthews coming clear in that window.
NC State playing more zone today.
Yep.
After their safety and free safety. And some corners were victimized, as you mentioned, Rod, man-to-man coverage.
2nd and goal after the spike. Blitz from the Wolfpack. Blackman to Akers for the touchdown. Off the back foot, he was able to find a man. And there's also a penalty marker where Blackman was hit back near the 25.
What a terrific job Blackman did. He knew it was man coverage. He knew the blitz was coming. He stayed in there as long as he could. Took the hit and the extracurricular from Pratt. Watch him hang in there. You'll see Pratt coming on a full dead sprint. And he finds Akers right over the middle. Yeah, he had 2 full steps before he got to Blackman. Easily could have changed direction and pulled up.
Touchdown on the play. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 39. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Both Pratt and Smith-Williams were there. They tagged Smith-Williams with the penalty, which is assessed on the kick.
What about that 2-minute drill?
That was very impressive.
Wasn't it?
75 yards in less than 50 seconds. More penalty flags.
Yeah, Blackman.
Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty, remains the try down.
Pretty focused and motivated quarterback. He's been a good team leader as a backup this season, bringing energy to practice and winning over his teammates. He's pretty determined and focused about his future.
This is the 4th game of the season that Blackman is playing in. There is still an opportunity, if DeAndre Francois were to be healthy next week, where you could sit James Blackman under the new redshirt rule and still save a year of eligibility. That'll be an interesting question going forward, but that is something important to note today.
I'm sure that's a discussion that he will have with Willie Taggart this week. Whether he takes advantage of that red shirt, which means that he wouldn't play anymore after this game.
Right.
It's unlikely, I think, that he would want a red shirt, given that he may get to play some more. Francois' health is questionable. But it is a worthwhile discussion for him to have and to see.
Because this is what's left.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Notre Dame coming up on ESPN. You'll see them. They're an undefeated team. Boston College has played well with their running attack and A.J. Dillon. Florida's losing today, but they've been a really good defensive team this year.
Well, whether they redshirt him may have a lot to do with what Francois does. If Francois says,
that's
I'm good, I'm healthy, I can play. And you know what? Hey, guys, I think I'm ready to go to the league next year. Why wouldn't you redshirt, keep this year, so that you lose a year of eligibility?
Interesting discussion to have.
Yeah, it's going to be a worthwhile one.
Speaking of the Irish, they're getting ready to go on the road. Not too far of a trip, just a couple of hours west to head to Evanston for Pat Fitzgerald's crew. Number 4 Notre Dame coming up against Northwestern at 7:15 on ESPN. This has been a lucrative change for Notre Dame and Brian Kelly, and this offense going to Ian Book after the quarter pole of the season.
Well, we saw him in the bowl game against LSU come off the bench and do some good things, and it was clear that he was going to be involved with the competition this fall, and eventually they went to him, and their passing attack has really taken off.
Be interesting to see, Rod, if Florida State opens it up and airs it out, spreads them out in the second half, based on success that they had on the 2-minute drill and exposing this NC State secondary.
Agreed. I think they have to. I think FSU gets the ball, start the second half, and they should have a lot of momentum going into the break after that 2-minute drive. I'm sorry.
Especially in this building.
I'm thinking back to the days of Phillip Rivers taking on
turn of the century.
Yeah.
Kochery and Rivers.
Some good matches.
Well, the last time North Carolina State had a double-digit win season, 2002, they beat Florida State in November right here on ABC. Trayshawn Harrison. It'll be a touchback. Well, Florida State's going to start with the ball here in the second half. We were talking a little bit during break. I go, Rod, what do you want to see? What do these guys need to do? We saw some life offensively.
Take your shot. Take your shot.
Yep.
We've
By the way, you mean that figuratively and literally, I think.
Yeah, we've seen in the first half, they can throw the ball against this secondary for North Carolina State, which has struggled the last few weeks. So take your shots. This whole thing of trying to establish the run isn't working for them. They're going to have to sprinkle that in.
Zone read for Cam Akers, and Laurel Murchison is there for the stop. Let's check in with Quinn Kesnick.
Yeah, what lies ahead is more important than what occurred. Willie Taggart went over a couple bullet points with me. Self-inflicted wounds, the penalties and the turnovers have to be fixed. Pass protection has to improve. And then the last thing he talked about was compete for 60. Compete for each other. Also, Adam, interesting to note that Coach Taggart, without the play card today, he is not calling plays. Offensive coordinator Walt Bell has full control of this offense today.
Interesting, Walt Bell in his first season on staff with Willie Taggart. Blackman will work his way past the 25-yard line.
I'd just like to see them, Quint, get away from that first down run, because it leaves them in 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 12. I think they ought to take some shots. I understand why they're doing it. I think they're better off tossing it on first down.
You see Nyquan Murray lining up in the slot to the left side. Murray eligible for the second half after he was suspended for the first half by Willie Taggart after an incident where he threw a punch a week ago against a Clemson player.
Leading receiver, and he's excellent in the slot. A matchup issue.
He's got 40 grabs this year. Blackman to the sideline for Pokey Wilson. Let's see where they mark him here. The line to gain was the 35.
That was a great catch. And I think his body was actually beyond the 35, but as he came back to the ball to catch it.
The ruling on the field, the runner was short of the line to gain. The play is under review.
You think where the ball was shy of the sticks? Is what you were thinking.
His body, 30. Watch him come back. Now, that's not straight down the 35-yard line, so hard to tell. And remember, you need indisputable video evidence to overturn a call on the field.
So the call on the field is that it's short of the line to gain at the 34. The ball is marked wherever possession is established and where the ball is once that's established. So don't worry about the body. It's where the ball is, and the officials thought it was shy of the line to gain. The knee goes down, and it looks like the ball is shielded from the 35. So I think that's the right call.
Yeah, it looks a little bit short from that angle.
Yeah, that's a good spot, I think.
I mean, if I were to move it at all, I'd still move it and have it short of the first down.
Short? Yeah.
You've got to run a route that allows you to come back to the ball and still be past the sticks. And I know, Rod, defensively as a former corner, you're got the sticks in your mind there, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I thought it was more of the throw that was low and outside that forced him to come back as far as he did. And that's probably the reason. Had that throw been up higher and he could have stayed on his feet, he would have had the first down easily.
After review, the receiver did catch the ball. He was short of the line to gain. 4th down.
You can review forward progress as it relates to the line to gain or the goal line. So that is a reviewable play. And with 4th down and 1 at their own 34-yard line, Ryan. They're going for it.
Yeah, he's saying this is a moment. This is the moment. He desperately knows they need a score to get back into this game, but this is awfully risky. You don't make this, you lose the ball game.
They're going to run it with Akers, who gets swallowed up by Isaiah Moore, the middle linebacker.
Not a big fan of slow developing plays in your own backfield when you need just less than a yard. You have to go after it and get it. Now, he didn't call that play. That's with his O coordinator. I think he wished he'd called a different one.
Oh, man. I mean, it's easy to look back in hindsight, but you said it in the moment. Inside your own 35, 2-score game early second half. I imagine a lot of people are thinking that's a surprising call. And Gillespie takes it on 1st down to the 25 for NC State.
When you take a chance like that, you have to have a play that you know will work. You can't have any uncertainty. You know, you've practiced it during the week. It is a guaranteed winner for you. You cannot take that risk and lose that, because this is likely to be a 3-possession game now when you had a chance to get it to 1.
It's a lot of pressure to put on your defense. Gillespie got chopped by Brian Burns, and he ends up landing a yard back of where he started. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 at the 26.
This could be a very critical down, because if I'm Florida State...
Oh, this feels like a huge play.
Yeah, I'm rolling the dice. I got to bring some pressure because I don't want to give up a field goal here. And if I'm Finley, I'm thinking they're going to roll the dice and bring some pressure. I'm going to get Harmon in one-on-one. I'm taking a shot.
Bottom of the formation is where Harmon's at.
There he is, down there.
He's got Samuels on him.
Well, they were showing a too high look for safeties. They came out of that.
To the left side, shy of the sticks for Emezi, and the defense rallies to the ball. That was a crucial play to at least bring up 4th down. Now let's see what Dave Doran and Eli Drinkwitz's decision is.
Well, see, in my book, whenever you get a takeaway, you get points. So kick the field goal and just keep adding to it. You take this chance here, you're leaving the possibility that that turnover didn't mean anything.
4th down and 1. It's Gillespie, and he moves the chains. Dave Doran rolling the dice and coming up.
More aggressive play call on 4th down than you got from Florida State. Outside zone play, get him going to the line of scrimmage, give him a lead blocker. They've run this a number of times today.
Already the 6th red zone trip today for NC State. And a good run by Gillespie with a good block from Dylan Autenreith. 8 yards, and I feel like we've said that a whole lot today.
They are hunting down these linebackers and keeping them out of the play.
Gillespie brought down by Marvin Wilson. Minimal gain. 3rd down and short coming up.
Well, given your success running the ball, 3rd and 2 here.
So you run the ball
again.
They brought Person in and an extra offensive lineman.
Yep. And you're sort of committed to the touchdown here because you've kind of gone for it. Even if you don't get it here, you're going on 4th down. You're
already gone for it 4th down in the red zone already, right? Running it to the left side this time. Good penetration by the Florida State defense. Burns will close out the play.
Hey, not any quitting that defense, huh?
They've been put into some tough spots today, it feels like.
Yeah, a lot of sudden change, a lot with their backs against the goal line, and that time you had Burns leading the charge there. These guys have played hard, even when it looked tough. Even Woodby, the freshman, has jumped in there and done a good job.
So this is going to be the 3rd. I don't want to call it a chip shot here, but this is inside of 30 yards. Make it 31. Another shorter field goal. Christopher Dunn. Nice and easy. Was knee injury, thrust back into the starting lineup today after DeAndre Francois was banged up a week ago against Clemson. Trayshawn Harrison on the return. Out to the 19-yard line. Things continue to stay chippy with these two. Getting into it a little bit. We'll see the physicality on display tonight. Notre Dame and Northwestern. Pat Fitzgerald's gritty unit. You never know which team's going to show up, though. Some days they look flat for a half. Some days they look like world beaters. We'll see what they look like against Brian Kelly's Irish tonight. 7:15 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Sneaky, good, under-the-radar game tonight.
She is very worried about that game tonight. Very concerned. From the 19-yard line. Cam Akers brought down by Aleem McNeil.
You know, we were talking about Blackman in the first half. Do you know what he did for a summer job one year?
What was that?
He worked in a mortuary.
Where did you find this? This was not in our discussion yesterday.
No,
I like you digging a little extra for that one.
He said
we're not done yet. I need to hear more about the mortuary. I hope you picked that up. You went a little. You were digging deep.
Digging deep. Yeah.
There's a lot of eye rolling around America right now. Receiver fell down. The trip up for Pokey Wilson, and it's 3rd down.
No, well, his legal guardian is in that business and gave him a summer job and had him deal with some corpses. And he came out of there going, you know what? I cannot do this. I got to have a profession, whether that is the NFL or something else. I'm not cut out for that.
I'm just thinking about it. It is really difficult.
That will motivate you to be pretty focused on everything else. I want to do something else,
right?
too. Yeah.
Wow. Out of the backfield again, it's Akers, and he's hit shy of the line to gain by Isaiah Moore. 4th down and short coming up again for Florida State.
Oh, come on. You're not going to go for it again, are you? No, you can't do that.
No.
You got to kick it, right?
Logan, I would think you'd have to after what we just saw a moment ago.
Look, you are still in this game.
It's a 2-touchdown game.
Right.
16 points are still a 2-score game.
And you've already put your defense in, harm's way a number of times, and they've responded. So give them a chance to have a long field now.
Before the snap, timeout was called by Florida State. Their first time out of the half.
4th down and short coming up with a timeout for FSU.
Complain, I'll complain for him.
He won a lot of games in an NC State uniform.
He won a lot of Wisconsin, too.
It's a good year. He's won a lot of games ever since then. Some great quarterbacks here. Ryan Finley among them for NC State, a potential first-round pick. Getting ready to take the field after this Tyler punt. Decent field position coming up for NC State. Well, here is Wendy's Fresh Look, giving fans more on some of the hottest topics today. And these are, according to our buddy Todd McShay, who you'll see on Oklahoma, Texas Tech in a bit, these are his top 5 draft-eligible prospects.
Yeah, and Todd is usually right on the money with the order of quarterbacks. He's done this a while, and the former quarterback himself gets great intel. And there's no question to me about Justin Herbert and his arm strength and his athleticism. Finley, I can see him as a second guy because he doesn't have the same arm strength or athleticism, but he's talented, man, and seeing him at number 2 is not a surprise.
He was number 1 in the preseason, too, by the way. That's obviously more of a credit to Justin Herbert and what he's done this year to be number 1.
No Will Greer.
Interesting. I thought so, too. I would imagine if you're going to 6, he's got to be your 6th. Speaking of Finley, he finds Emeka Imezi, and he's got the first down to the Florida State 48.
And part of Finley's charm is just the management, decision-making, the patience, the willingness to check down and take the short throw and not force a deep throw. You can win that way.
He's the king of avoiding the catastrophic mistake.
Good way to say that, Q. I would say you never go broke taking a profit, and that's the case oftentimes for Finley. That was a riskier throw into a tight window for Myers, almost simultaneously grabbed by Hamza Nasruddin. It's a gain of 9 for NC State.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of picks by Finley. You don't see a lot of risk taking. So, maybe his touchdown passes aren't the same high number you get with some other guys because he doesn't take the risk when it's there.
I think Alex Smith, Q, has made a pretty good living at the quarterback position in the NFL doing similar things.
Yeah, 2 question marks. Arm strength, throwing the ball into tight windows. You saw a little of that against Clemson. And then his body. I think in the NFL he'd get broken in half right now.
He'll hand it off to Ricky Person. He'll take the blow inside the 30-yard line. His body's built for it at 210 pounds.
This is a problem. You just don't have enough guys on the right side defensively. Nobody touches a person until he gets way down the field. You got a lead blocker on that as well.
Autenreith again.
Yeah. I just think Florida State's got to be more aggressive. More run blitzes. They can't stop them with 4 guys up there.
Off the backside. Good job by Janaris Robinson to bring Person down. Gain of 2 on the play. Well, Ryan Finley this week was named a finalist for the William V. Campbell Trophy, which recognizes the best football scholar athlete in the country. It's a combination of academics and athletics at a high level. He loves to debate. Like, he'll argue with anybody on the staff, they tell us. Strength coach, hey, I just read this book. Let me tell you about it. Oh, you think this about the NBA? Let me tell you why your opinion is wrong. He is a guy who loves to discuss and think and talk it out. And throw to Calvin Harmon, who just threw a flag with Samuels in coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 8.
Well, Samuels may have a legitimate argument here.
All good? All good?
Now, see, I think that hand contact was initiated by Harmon with the hand, and he just knocked it away. And then you get flagged for that? Well, I'm not a fan of that one.
Well, Willie Taggart's been asking about pass interference in this game.
But that one, again, if the receiver initiates the contact and you knock his hand away, I don't think that's not a legitimate pass interference.
You're okay with a no? You'd be okay with a no call there?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
That's the 11th accepted Florida State penalty, by the way. And again, bottom of the formation.
Yeah, go back to the well. I mean, you get PI, and now you got single coverage and a lot of room. Finley should go right back over there.
Looking the other way. Incomplete. trying to find Imezi, and another penalty flag is thrown on Asante Samuel Jr.
Now this one is more legitimate. Samuel Jr. had both hands on him and wouldn't allow him to try to come
Pass
back
interference,
around.
defense, number 26. Automatic first down.
Now, this one I think is legit. The last one, not so much. Hands on, holding him off right there. See, you're not letting him get to the ball. You're impeding him, and you're not even trying to make a play on the ball. That's pass interference. The other one, no way.
So it's another fresh set of downs. They spot the ball inside the 5. Florida State having all sorts of issues figuring out their personnel. Finley, goal line, touchdown, Myers.
How about that throw?
Right where it needed to be.
Completely accurate, and just a bullet right there. Doesn't have to turn around or fall down or jump. Just keep on to the edge, and it's a touchdown for Myers.
I'm certainly not going to prognosticate to see how it's going to translate to the next level, but based on what we've seen in college, I think there's a lot of receivers out there that may watch his tape and think, I think I'd like to play with this guy at the next level. Ryan Finley, his second
LSU playing, you know something's going to change in the top 4.
That's a great call. ESPN Radio tonight, by the way. Listen to that. So take me back. Tell me how this sequence has changed the game.
Well, the first pass interference call was on a big third down. Watch it here. I think this is a bad call. It's a bad call. There was some mutual combat there, and it should have been flagged, but it set up a goal line situation. This call was legitimate. That was pass interference. But the first one changed the entire drive there because it gave life to North Carolina State when that drive was essentially coming to a halt.
And Adam, NC State was victimized last week up in the Dome against Syracuse by some controversial PI calls themselves. The coaches just want to know how to teach it, how to coach it.
Yeah, it's been a refrain from a lot of different coaches throughout the country, not just in this league.
Yeah. We've had multiple coaches tell us that pass interference calls appear to be up, and they don't know how to coach their defensive backs how to deal with it because of some of the tick-tacky mutual combat fouls that have been called their way.
On the edge, Akers brought down by Dexter Wright.
You know, just to kind of put a period on the PI thing, the safety zone is that if you get your head around when you're down the field, even if your hands are on the receiver and his are on yours, you'll be safe. But if you don't get your head around, you got a chance of being flagged.
Designed run for Blackman. And a first down. Works his way to the 35-yard line. This was earlier. This is Willie Taggart talking with the side judge. And we've seen that conversation happen multiple times in this game.
What do I tell my guy when the receiver grabs him and he pushes his arm away and then you flag him?
Deep shot. Looking for Terry again. Did he haul it in? Yes. What a catch by Tamarian Terry inside the 30. His third big play of the day.
Last year he was a redshirt freshman, not on the field, and now he's become one of their key receivers. Left foot in, control of the ball, got to control it all the way through the ground, and he does.
That one good for 37. Matthews inside the 15-yard line, throwing the football.
We talked about this at halftime. The weakness of the defense is the secondary. Attack it, attack it, attack it.
First down and goal. And a whistle blows this play dead. Dave Doran. Clemson ahead of the pack in the ACC. North Carolina State, Florida State here.
A lot of room out there. Look at all that room back there. 6'4" receiver. We got a lot of room.
That's Terry. Blackman kind of a collapsing pocket there, trying to get rid of it. James Smith-Williams with good pressure.
Yeah, not a bad play design. They tried to come back with the option route underneath against a linebacker, but I do like that matchup outside with Terry, and that looks like that is Griffin who's down.
Former Tennessee Vol.
Protecting the quarterback has been an issue all season, all night for Florida State. You see the collapse there and the hit. You've had Francois out tonight because he took so many hits the last couple of weeks, and Blackman has certainly had his share of hits tonight.
Ron, I thought we'd see a few more Florida State screens, knowing that the pressure would come. They've shown an ability to hit Cam Akers in the screen game and use their tight end effectively in a middle screen, Trey McKitty. We have not seen that from Florida State.
That's a good point, Q, because the way they struggled running the ball, it seemed like a natural to move to some screen action and then also go back to taking some shots down the field where they could really, make some hay.
This is an athletic NC State defense, susceptible to the big play, but they've got a lot of talent up front. Led by Jermaine Pratt, the leading tackler in the ACC, had a monster game against Syracuse last week.
Yeah, they're set up for a quick screen outside to the right with Matthews behind Terry over there.
Look at end zone. He's got Terry again. The second touchdown for the redshirt freshman today.
This is not a confident secondary right now for North Carolina State. Right side of your screen, you'll see just an out route. There's man coverage. He's working on the freshman Ingle, who struggled last week against Syracuse. He's in for Griffin, and Griffin was the starter tonight. They made that switch because Ingle struggled last week against Syracuse, and they went right after him, and that's a good job.
And Terry takes advantage. 4 targets.
This is not over yet. Florida State hanging in there.
16-point game, 2 scores, still 17 minutes to play. Maurice Trowell looking for a big return and got tripped up. It was the kicker Logan Tyler who got his body in the way. 192-pound junior giving up his body to make sure that return didn't go further. Trowell a little worse for the wear after all that. Let's get a look at our college football playoff rankings. They're brought to us by Allstate. You see some of the games in progress right now as well. Kentucky and Georgia was a big one, and of course LSU Alabama later on tonight. Do the Tigers have a shot? Some people seem to think they do. A lot of people are just writing them off like everybody else who's played Alabama this year. As Gillespie has a good run on first down.
I think the only way LSU has a shot, they take the air out of the football, go time of possession, find a way to run it, to throw short passes, and keep Tua Tagovailoa off the field. They cannot get into a shootout with Alabama and win it.
Feels like when LSU's won games, they've been grinded out type of games.
Make it ugly.
Yeah, you have to. There's Gillespie again. Good stretch for the first down.
What if Florida State had not gone for that 4th and short in its own territory, their own 35-yard line?
I mean, it's been a war of attrition today. Now Dontavius Jackson is a little bit banged up as well. Needing help to get up.
Sometimes, I know emotionally it feels right to go for it on 4th down. But if you think long term and what you have left in the game, you're not in a bad spot.
Those early second half
Yes, it was
opening
the first
drive of the series.
Second half.
4th down and 1 inside their own 35-yard line.
And you
run play
wind
that
up
got
giving
stuck.
up points.
Gave up a field goal on that series.
Yep.
Trying to
Could have been
pinpoint.
worse.
You're trying to pinpoint moments, and that's what coaches do. They're going to look at little periods of time. Mac Brown used to tell me, he's back in studio right now. He said, oftentimes it was 60 great snaps that your team played, but it's the 4 to 8 snaps that are going to stick out, and that's what decided a game. And that's how head coaches kind of perceive these things when they go back and watch the same film that you're sitting on your couch right now and scrutinizing every move that your head coach has made. Wait till they go back and watch the film of this.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of a moment. This defense is good enough to create a play, to make something happen. You've got a 2nd down and long. They have typically in this situation played soft coverage. I dial it up now. Change the momentum. Bring some pressure. Create something. Trust your corners to hold on outside.
Just a 4-man pressure from Florida State. Finley buying time, and somehow Kerry Angeline comes down with it. The former USC Trojan on a 24-yard traffic catch.
What a catch. He is covered. He is so big and tall that Finley knew putting it up would help the guy at 6'7", and a couple of Florida State players went down as they made the tackle.
Hamza Nasruddin is up while Adonis Thomas is down. That's how we close out the third. To his helmet. Nasruddin went to the sideline and had his knee cleaned up on the bench. After the catch by Angeline, it's 1st and 10 for North Carolina State at the 25 to open up the 4th quarter.
They shifted out of what would be their run formation to more of a passing situation with the back there.
Finley grabbed by Myers. 1st down. A penalty marker is thrown.
Entry 27-0.
Matty, interesting stuff. Michigan continuing to roll after that loss to Notre Dame early. Offensive pass interference, though, the call against Kelvin Harmon. So that negates that Myers grab that had moved the chains.
So maybe Taggart's lobbying with the officials has paid off a little bit.
Going to set up Finley at 1st and a quarter of the field at the 40. Blitz from Florida State. Finley, he's got a man. It's C.J. Riley all the way back inside the 25 to set up 2nd down and about 7.
They go back to that pass interference, which moved North Carolina State back. You see at the bottom of your screen, number 3 Harmon, he just runs inside and runs right into the block off the defensive back, and that was actually Samuels that he blocked off.
Just kind of barreled into him.
Yep.
Make up for it with the 18-yard strike. Brady Bodine is in for the 1st time.
They need something from him.
And Brian Burns is out on the edge.
They need a play out of him.
They set up the screen for Bodine. Incomplete, and it brings up 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, they do a good job of getting rid of the ball quickly. Now, on that 2nd down play a couple plays ago where he had the big catch by Angeline, Burns wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
On a 2nd down passing situation, your best pass rusher was on the sideline, and it hurt them. I mean, this is 4th quarter. You have to have a pressure package in the 4th quarter, a pass rush, and you have to have a blitz in the 4th quarter. You have not run yet, one they haven't seen.
We've talked about blitzing on defense, taking shots on offense.
Always save something for late game to confuse the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. It costs them. And this is a critical 3rd down. They can't give up a yard. They can't give up 3 more points here, or else they're in real trouble.
The field goal does make it a 3-possession game. Sneaking through, it's Gillespie for the 1st down. Reggie Gillespie, when they've needed a good run, more often than not, he's given it to him.
Well, his patience really set that up. He did a nice job of waiting for Alton Reed, his fullback, to make a block. You'll see him just kind of hold up a little bit and wait on 42. Anton Reeve, his fullback, get in there, and that opened up the hole for him. Great patience.
That puts Gillespie over 100 yards today. Senior out of High Point, North Carolina, who's had a career season as a senior. He's had a touchdown in every game up until today. Now it's Person. This has been a very imposing running attack that's more at full strength this week than they were a week ago.
And that's the same running play back to back. They just ran it to the right side, you know, so same thing. But they have done a great job up front of getting their bodies on the defensive linemen, but getting one or two linemen free to attack the linebackers. And so no one's free to make a tackle, at least not at the line of scrimmage.
Lethal simplicity in some ways. Right back to Person. Hit by Wilson. 3rd and short coming up.
But again, those tackles are being made by defensive linemen who are fighting to get off blocks. No inside linebackers in the picture because they've been driven out by guards and the center, so they can't get in to make any plays.
This O-line is exceptional. Consistent all season long, and they've kept Finley clean. Let's see if they have the power right now.
Ricky Person in the backfield on 3rd down and 1. Finley trying to sneak it. Well, this is going to be an interesting spot.
I think he lost his footing. It seemed like he sort of slipped down or got tripped. But he got enough of it.
Yeah, got a good spot there, too. 1st down and goal. He just kind of stumbled down. It's 1st and goal, NC State. Finley. Person with another touchdown. A career day for Ricky Person Jr.
Now watch Finley with a guy in his face. You know, we talked at the top of the show about his poise, his composure. He's got Woodby on him. No panic. Just lofts a perfect throw to the outside to let Person go get it. How about that? You know, that guy, when he transferred here, he transferred to be a backup. He left Boise State where he was going to be a backup. And
years ago in February.
Did they wear the costume?
They did. Wear a tux, wear a wedding dress. The Demon Deacon presided over the wedding, for God's sakes. That's great.
Awesome. I love that.
Then they were dancing together. A couple that dances together stays together.
I'm going to have you write a book on marriage, man.
Ryan Finley. Strong performance once again today.
Yeah. Here's a guy who NFL scouts are going to love for his maturity off the field. He avoids social media.
I'd advise that for all of you today. There's Trayshawn Harrison out near the 30-yard line, taken out by Bambard. Let's go over to Matt Berry in the studio.
Guys, we have a good one over on ESPN2. Iowa was down 35-23 at one point. Mekhi Sargent had a 1-yard touchdown run, 2-point conversion, no good. Iowa now up 36-35 late in the 4th.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 33. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That'll set Florida State back, Matty. Nate Stanley on that list, too. Great.
Yep.
Draft-eligible quarterbacks.
Yeah. Do you think Matt Berry would take Finley's advice about social media? Finley says he actually did the research on it, papers on it, and said, it's not good for you. It's too many comparisons, too much negative stuff, and he stays away from it completely.
I've never seen any negativity on social media,
No.
and I have no idea what you're talking about.
But you can,
I've never dipped my toes in the cesspool that is Twitter before.
but you could see the NFL team that was, hey, we don't have to worry about this guy, what he says and does publicly. Huh, loved it.
Yeah, I think Ryan Finley is going to win a lot of interviews. He's going to walk into a lot of those pre-draft interviews and impress a whole lot of people. And I don't think that should surprise anybody being around him and the cerebral way he goes about his business.
Look, the one thing that's going to hold him back is that the arm strength. When you show the deep out, that's not his throw.
Incomplete from Matthews.
You see Blackman misses over the middle there. I want to get back to Blackman, too, in the sense that I think he's played well tonight. You know, I don't think Florida State has thrown it as much as they should have and could have. They've done a better job protecting him than they did Francois the last couple weeks.
Francois sidelined today. Nowhere to go for Blackman, looking for Akers.
Yeah, that was one of the few times that Blackman felt the pressure and moved too soon in the pocket. I didn't think he had to look for an opening, and he said so. He said, that's my bad right there. I should have been more patient, and now you've got a fourth down where they're going to roll the dice now.
Blackman with a quick strike for the first down as he finds Nyquan Murray, his first catch of the day after entering at halftime.
Look, in the long run, Florida State's going to be fine because of the amount of talent that they're getting and have already on the roster. And Willie Taggart has been involved in turnarounds before.
Yep. Pretty much every stop he's gone to.
Yeah. He's done that. So when he talks about fixing the culture and getting guys to buy into playing for one another and to be less selfish and the like, he knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
He's been through it.
There are some small victories that I've seen on their bench today, and with their players' body language and with interactions from teammate to teammate.
He was looking for energy throughout the game today, trying to see how teams bounce back. That was kind of the theme for both of these teams as McKitty takes it across the 40. 2 straight losses for North Carolina State.
Yep.
We know what's happened to Florida State over the last couple of weeks. This is a tough time of year. You get into November, things get decided. What did Frank Broyles always used to say? They remember what you do in November.
It's not easy to win. It's not easy to be a champion. It's a long grind, and November is a hard month. The weather turns. You got tough games. You're hurting. You're beat up.
Incomplete.
You're beat up on Twitter.
Yeah.
4th down and 2 here.
And remember, for North Carolina State, it used to be a big thing to beat Florida State. It used to be this was a game, man, it made your season. Not anymore. Now they expect to beat Florida State. They expect to play well year in and year out against the Seminoles.
Dave Doran has changed that expectation. Blackman rifles, has the first down as he finds Keith Gavin in Wolfpack territory.
Biggest single improvement for Blackman, his intermediate passing. Last year, there was a short passing attack and having him run. He is way more confident throwing the ball down the field now.
Over 300 yards passing today. And looking for Terry again. Had the coverage of Chris Ingram again. 15 on 15 has been a fun matchup tonight.
Now, they let this one go. There's some hand fighting down here. There's a reach out. See, there's a grab and a hold. And that's not called. We saw something similar called earlier on the defensive back when he just, pushed away the hand.
James
So
Blackman
when you
was looking
talk
for the
about
flag.
consistency on those big plays down the field, you know, there's a legitimate gripe about it.
Sure. A deep one. This one incomplete, looking for Matthews.
Of course, I didn't think that was pass interference.
Well, you never think anything's special. have you not gotten that through your head yet?
If there's no blood, it's good, right?
Former Stanford defensive back, grinding it out, probably going up against receivers 6, 7, 8 inches taller than you. You never grabbed, you never held.
No.
You were just scrappy.
Good feet, man.
Just good feet and good hips. That's all you need, Rod. How about the hit from Tanner Ingle, the true freshman out of Orlando?
How good does that feel for Ingle? He plays that nickelback spot, and they freed him up to rush the quarterback this time, something they have not shown. And he gets in and he gets a hit. And remember, had a tough game last week.
Yep. Got
beat earlier tonight. But to get a sack right now, that freshman's got to feel really, really good about that.
He's the only true freshman on offense or defense that started in the first half of the year. 4th down again. Blackman under pressure, and down he goes. Xavier Elias with the first sack of his career.
Protecting the quarterback. It's been an issue all season for Florida State. This is a little bit of an extra pressure. They bring 5. They can't handle him. Elias comes from the outside to make the play, and no shot for Blackman.
You're saying, what do I do? What can I do? 4 more sacks allowed by this Florida State offensive line. And the first of the career of Xavier Elias. Born in Fayetteville, North Carolina. His father stationed at Fort Bragg, where they have to be ready on 8 hours notice to go anywhere around the country when they're deployed, around the world when they're deployed. Lived a couple of years in Korea as well. And now it's Bo Bodine, who's got a military background. Former walk-on whose dad is a Marine Lieutenant Colonel.
The nifty footwork he showed there on that run. A little dance to the left, a little patience.
And what a moment for that young man, Elias. Remember, this is a defensive line that lost a lot of NFL talent from a year ago.
4 draft picks.
Bradley Chubb, B.J. Hill, Justin Jones, and Contavious Street off the NC State defensive line last season, all drafted. Ooh, low snap. Finley recovers it. It'll be 2nd down coming up. So you lose all that defensive line talent. That's no issue. They've rebuilt it again. Smith Williams and Murchison. Elias is waiting in the wings. There's a lot of defensive talent up front once again for NC State.
And a lot of young talent up front. You think about guys like Elias, who's a redshirt freshman. They've got a chance to do some special things.
Conte, McNeil, they're all freshmen. Top 60 defense for NC State this year. Here's Bodine. Bodine sets up 3rd down for NC State. We talked about Bodine's dad, the Marine Lieutenant Colonel Wayne Bodine, who's had 4 different one-year deployments in Afghanistan and Iraq. He says he gets his mental toughness from his mom, Connie, though. What does Connie do? She's a fitness coordinator for active duty troops.
Well, there you go. Kid had no choice but to be tough.
No option. Former walk-on, now on scholarship, the grad student from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Play clock winding down. Timeout for North Carolina State. We'll step aside. Of their final 3 to guarantee bowl eligibility. You tell me where you want to find those wins right now.
Well, I wouldn't write them off, though, because of the way they played tonight.
There's Bodine.
You know what I mean?
You saw positive things.
I saw effort and energy and fight with them. I saw an undisciplined team, if you will, because of all the penalties and some selfish taking shots at guys that really, really hurt them. If you could take some of those things away, they'd be in this game right now. So there was a sense of desperation with going for it in fourth down in the early third quarter. But the way they played with more energy and effort tonight, I thought.
38-yard try, a game long for Christopher Dunn. No problem for him. Big night for Dunn.
Great receivers the last few weeks.
Yep. Harmon today as well.
Yep.
Deshaun Helton slipping some tackles. Looked to step out of bounds. He'll be called back at the 40-yard line, stepping out. So North Carolina State up by 26 points, going all the way through the entire series. And this is the 39th meeting all time. The largest win, 17 points back in 1998. Wow. Think about where this program has been before Dave Doran got here, and think about what they could be. Still a long way to go, but could be on the precipice of doing over the course of the next several weeks.
They could win 10 games. Each victory improves where they're likely to be for a bowl game.
Blackman looking for Murray. Incomplete.
They are still chasing in their division Boston College and Syracuse, and everybody is chasing Clemson in that division.
It's the Atlantic Division. It's a high quality, high talent division. It has been the last few years.
But if they play the rest of the way like they've played tonight, count them for 10 wins.
It's a program that goes back to the 1890s, like a lot of college football programs do, but in more recent history, charter member of the ACC. Never been to the ACC championship game, which has only been around for about a decade and a half, granted. Launching for Terry. How about this kid? Tamarian Terry lost the football, but they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. A penalty marker all the way back at the 45 after that 59-yard catch for Tamarian Terry. Another huge play pending the flag. An interesting smirk on Willie Taggart's face there.
Yeah, this one's not going to go over well in the film session.
During the pass, personal foul, unnecessary roughness offense, number 54. 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Replay second down.
That's a captain. That's Alec Eberle in his 41st consecutive start today.
Yep, redshirt senior.
It was just a little retaliation after the play. And
Well,
Terry has really torn it up here in the second half. This kid has jets. He's super athletic. I couldn't be more impressed at field level with what I've seen from him.
Well, Quint, the skill level at Florida State is still outstanding. You know, they've got some work to do on the offensive line, but the undisciplined nature of some of these things, they've had some personal fouls, all of them in the retaliatory, category, that have really hurt them. Really hurt them. And that's the kind of thing that Taggart has talked about, cleaning up, getting out of the program.
240 penalty yards the last 2 weeks combined as Matthews makes that grab.
There was a time under Fisher and under Bobby Bowden when Florida State could be undisciplined. They were so good everywhere that those types of things didn't hurt them. They're not that good now, and those things kill them right now.
So what do you do, Rod? What do you do with all the penalties? What do you do with the guys who committed them?
Well, can I get a $5 million a year job as the head coach and share all my secrets?
That's what these guys are getting paid to do now. Decision making will be interesting going forward for Florida State. And how Willie Taggart approaches all of this in the upcoming week.
Like we said, Willie Taggart's done it before.
There's Patrick with a first down. Still on his feet.
put them last in line at the lunch buffet?
That'd be a good punishment for me more often than not, Kim.
Quinn, you know, I mean, with any team sport, changing the culture is the hardest thing to do. And if a team has had 2 or 3 years where, you know, it hasn't been a team, where guys have been focused on their individual goals, it's hard. It takes a while to get it squared away. And that's clearly what's been going on at Florida State. Is can't tell who's down now.
That's Patrick.
That's Patrick? Yeah, he was scaring the ball. You know what I mean? Getting teams to buy into playing for your teammates and sharing with others and celebrating their success. That's not easy.
No, it's the momentary lapses that we've seen.
Right.
There was a school, and I forget who it was earlier this year, Rod. We were talking about mistakes in practice, penalties in practice, that at the end of that practice, the entire group would have to run for your mistake, and that really put a lot of pressure on the individual.
We're checking on Patrick here. While we have a moment, let's go back to Matt in the studio.
Adam, thank you. What a finish we had at Purdue. Spencer Evans, game-winning field goal, 25 yards out. Iowa missed 2 two-point conversions in this game. Purdue's beat 3 ranked opponents the same season for the first time since 2003. And this, the big one tonight in the Big 12, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC. Guys.
You know, Purdue could win their division.
Might be time to start talking about a Big Ten West champion Purdue Boilermakers.
Could happen.
Patrick back on the field, on the sideline now. Akers is still on the sideline too, so Anthony Grant has checked in. Running back. Blackman just slinging it up there for Nyquan Murray. Caught inside the 20-yard line as we approach 4 minutes to play.
I mean, we've talked about it all night. The weakness of this defense is the secondary. And we assumed that Florida State would come out attacking them, throwing the ball deep. Now, they had bad field position, but they also tried to establish the run. And that was a strength for NC State. I think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
I think they should have come out really going after the secondary.
The side judge limping around, kind of banged into a security guard. We've been told on that sideline. Tightly packed with plenty of personnel down there.
Well, that's why they're supposed to be on the other side of that white line. So the officials have a clear path and those things don't happen.
It's Tony Tarantini, the side judge.
Relatively tight quarters here.
You just watch yourself down there, buddy.
And at homecoming, it seems like everybody and their brother are on the sideline.
Yeah. And Tarantini is kind of limping away from the play. They ended up having to move the center judge Marcus Woods over there to help out Tarantini. The pass break up there by Dexter Wright. Matt just gave us that Purdue update. I'm thinking about somebody like a Jeff Brom. If he continues on this path. Dave Doran gave us a great quote yesterday. Social media can make you hotter than you really are, and it can put you on a hot seat quicker than you should be.
True.
Because of the instant and fast reactions of the public at large.
Well, he should know.
Tennessee
last
He became
year.
a very hot target for that job. Looking for Murray.
Had him
Right, right with the coverage there.
He had it in his hands. And this is a well-thrown ball. Watch Murray at the end. Right there, he's got it. Lost it. Now, just like in baseball, anytime that ball drops below your eyes and you're trying to catch it at the waist or so, you lose it for a second.
Yep. You lose eye contact with anything you're trying to hold on to. It often makes it a little bit more difficult. That one broken up. Excellent job by Tayshawn Smith, the true freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
And Keith Gavin took a big hit in the end zone there. Excellent defensive play. Smith gets his hand on it. There's a big shot on Keith Gavin. Looked like that was Wright who got him.
Yep.
Dexter Wright. Clean hit, nothing wrong with it.
4th down coming up here for the Seminoles. incomplete. Gavin went short. Blackman went long. Turnover on downs. And it almost feels like Willie Taggart has seen enough for the night. Good Pac-12 game tonight. Important one in the North. Washington State taking on Cal at home. When that's done, Sports Center talking about what's going to happen Tuesday in the newest college football playoff rankings. Lakers, rough start. Magic Johnson called out Luke Walton after the 3-5 beginning of the season. How do they respond in a tough place at the Moda Center? And what's next for UFC champ Daniel Cormier? All coming up on Sports Center tonight after Washington State and Cal. Ryan Finley's night is over, seemingly, as Woody Cornwell has checked in at quarterback for North Carolina State. Hands the ball off to DeMonte Rem as we approach our final few minutes here.
There are a lot of former Florida State Seminoles looking at that number for 2 games and saying, no. How can that happen in a 2-game span of giving up more than 100 points?
The last time that happened, pre-Bowden. 1973. Bowden took over in 76.
What in the world of Derek Brooks is happening when your defense gives up that much in 2 weeks?
Derek Brooks' son is on the roster, of course, DeKalen.
I think Primetime would have something to say about bringing it and not giving up that many points.
Corey Durden being helped off here.
I thought it was also interesting. Dave Dorn told us there was a time when his program targeted Florida State. That was the standard. That was what they were trying to get to.
For a long time, the Seminoles were the benchmark of the ACC. They entered, what, 1992, came into the league?
Yep.
And that was always the, all right, if you get Florida State, you're doing something right. You beat them, you're doing something right. That's shifted, obviously, over the last 5 years or so to Clemson.
It's Clemson. And he told us yesterday, he said, hey, we expect to play well against Florida State. We expect to beat Florida State. Clemson is the standard. That's where we have to get.
And obviously, tough game a couple of weeks back against Clemson. Back-to-back losses. 41-7 on the road against the now #2 Tigers 2 weeks ago. But again, you're looking for signs of improvement, building. You're seeing it.
Yeah.
Here in Raleigh, North Carolina, where, by the way, it was a great crowd today. Granted, it's homecoming, but they typically pack this place, or at least get a great crowd every game. They've got an NFL caliber quarterback
and
receiver in Kelvin Harmon. They've got guys who look like on the defensive end could be NFL guys going forward. Where can this program go?
You want to know something else? They're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun to watch.
Eli Drinkwitz, the offensive coordinator, pulling tricks out of the bag.
Sure. They are fun to watch. You know, they throw the ball around. They have some funky things they do on offense with their trick plays. They run it well enough, and they may be more fun on defense than they want to be because they tend to give up some big plays. But they're a fun team to watch.
And Eli, the OC, Drinkwitz, gets to eat some sugar today after the game.
Oh?
Remember, they get served ice cream after all their wins.
That's right.
And since the last 2 weeks, they've lost.
Well, Eli told us some interesting things yesterday that I think some folks in the room that were with him were like, wait a minute, hold on. Under pressure, nowhere to go for Woody Cornwell. Little brief 4th down. Eli Drinkwitz. Man, I had like 3 cookies today.
Oh, man.
4th down 4 for NC State. A.J. Cole, the veteran punter, boots it away. Matthews with the fair catch.
Next time you have the 3 cookies, you're not allowed to miss workout, okay?
Oh, okay, that's a fair point. One of us missed the workout. Guess which one of the 3 that was?
Becoming the norm.
Hey, you said it, Q. It's November. Everybody gets hurt. I'm hurting too. Right? more so after the workouts these days than anything else. James Blackman made his first career start a year ago in September against these Wolfpack. battled well in Tallahassee, but eventually lost. Thrust into that position a year ago. Thrust back into the position today and is still throwing for a career best, 355. That will be the question over the course of the next few days in Tallahassee. Who takes the snaps when they're on the road at Notre Dame next week? Again, I don't think they would redshirt Blackman right away. I was just bringing that up earlier. 4 games, new redshirt rule. You can if you wanted to, but you got to wonder if you got to give the guy another shot. That's going to be the question that surrounds Tallahassee the next couple of days.
I think he's played well tonight. I think they will have the conversation about redshirting, and I think it'll be dismissed. I think he wants to play the rest of this year. And I think he'll probably get on the field, too.
Yep. And again, to keep that bowl streak alive, they may have to. As how about Xavier Elias? First career sacks have come in this game for the redshirt freshman.
Yeah, this is a tough time for the offensive line. You know you're going to get pressure. They're just coming. Don't worry about the rushing attack. And that ball was held on to a bit long for Blackman.
4th time this year that Florida State's given up 5 sacks or more.
Ouch.
Matthews. Under the 40-yard line, final 96 of this game.
Matthews didn't get to return a punt today, really.
Yeah.
He is electric. He's super fun to watch. You can see him in space, the way he can cut and accelerate. One of the best in the country.
A.J. Cole did a really good job of neutralizing the punt return game. 4th down and 2 here. Flag thrown from the near side for a false start.
Back to your point on
False start, offense, number 29. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
On quarterbacks, Francois certainly looked during warmups like he would, be healthy enough maybe next week to go. So if he's healthy enough, it'll bear watching to see how Willie Taggart handles reps next week and which quarterback winds up taking snaps.
Past the sticks, caught by Terry. If there's a bright spot today for the Florida State Seminoles, it's Tamarian Terry, although a couple of flags back at the 25.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play, 1st down.
Elias. A little exuberant on this one after a couple of sacks today.
Yeah, he's had a couple of sacks. He got there and was a little frustrated and took a shot.
After the penalty, Seminoles first.
Do have to like these young defensive linemen for NC State.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be really good. They have been the last couple of years. Impact guys. Bradley Chubb, number 5 pick against this past draft for the Broncos. Along with a bunch of guys up front, 4 of them off the defensive line. Blackman down the seam. Oh, nice adjustment by DJ Matthews. His first touchdown of the season. Blackman over 400 yards passing today.
Well, and we talked about his improvement as a passer, that last year was a little bit overwhelming for him, but his intermediate throws, his deep throws have been really good tonight. I mean, he's really improved as a quarterback. We'd heard about that, but hadn't seen it in person. He's looked pretty good throwing the football tonight.
Yeah. Good stuff from Blackman. I'll also give credit to DeAndre Francois today.
Yep.
He's been there right with Blackman. Everybody talks about how great of a teammate Blackman is. Today, DeAndre Francois looked to be a very good teammate on the sidelines.
Yeah, supported him the entire time, and that's what you want.
Yep. So a 19-point game. Florida State, again, is going to have to win 2 of its final 3 against a tough schedule to make a bowl game. NC State is going to get to bowl eligibility today. It'll mark the 5th straight year for the Wolfpack that they are headed to a bowl game. It's the first time they've had a streak that long since they went to 7 straight bowls from 1988 to 1994.
Wow.
This has been quite some time to see this level of consistency for North Carolina State. 40 seconds left here. By the way, when we finish up, top of the hour from Lubbock. Remember what happened 2 years ago out there when Oklahoma and Texas Tech squared off? Baker Mayfield against Patrick Mahomes. They return the scene of that defensive crime tonight. Big game with Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Todd McShay coming.
That's going to be wild.
Points.
There are going to be a lot of points in that one.
Take the points. Watch the points. See all the points coming up.
I just hope my man Steve Levy keeps his voice, because there's going to be a whole lot of excitement.
I like these two head coaches, Rod.
Yep.
I like Willie Taggart at Florida State, and I know a lot of Florida State fans might be rolling their eyes right now. You said it. He's done it in the past. As they try squib kick here. It'll head out of bounds. Good job by Thomas to kick it away. But I like Dave Doran. We saw what he did at NIU. Rebuilt that program. Took them to some lofty heights in the MAC and beyond, and now he's starting to really solidify things at NC State. I did their game against North Carolina 2 years ago. They were 5-6, needing to win. They needed to beat Mitch Trubisky to get to bowl eligibility. They beat Mitch Trubisky in Chapel Hill that day, and that's when you started to hear a vote of confidence. That seems to be a phrase that's dreaded by everybody in college football right now, the dreaded vote of confidence. They trusted Dave Doran. He spurns Tennessee, had the chance to go take that job, stays at NC State, gets the extension, and they're 8 games in and they've got 6 wins. This does not happen often. He's making it happen in Raleigh.
Those 5 and 6 days are over and done with. This program is on solid footing, and they're going to battle Florida State and others for quite a while. And the standard is, how do you get to the level where Clemson is? That's the next step. That's the challenge.
The biggest win in series history for North Carolina State. They win it tonight by 19 points. Finley and Blackman, the 2 starting quarterbacks. Finley with a fine night with 3 touchdowns. 47-28 the final score. For Rod Gilmore, Quinn Kesnick, and the wonderful women and men of our crew, Adam Amin saying so long from Raleigh, North Carolina.